Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. If your goal is to live a long and healthy life, would you be willing to pay 50 grand to a longevity clinic to help maintain your body? Joining us to talk about this latest craze is Lakshmi, Varanasi, tech and trending reporter for Insider. Lakshmi, welcome to Daily Flash.
Hi.
So what are longevity clinics and what can they do for you?
Yeah, so longevity clinics are essentially centers that help people focus on living longer and healthier lives. And they really focus on offering very personalized guidance to people that's based on a slate of tests that can include everything from blood tests to sleep tests to urine tests to genetic tests. And based on that, they start to develop these sort of like comprehensive diet, fitness, and healthcare plans. And then they also offer treatments like sort of IV infusions, cryotherapy, help you sort of cold plunges, all the sort of like trending wellness hacks. But unlike your typical doctor's visit, longevity clinics are usually not covered by healthcare. They're pretty pricey, and it's not a completely regulated space. So some of these clinics do often veer into some more experimental treatments as well.
This seems relatively new, but I know they've probably been around for a while. How long have longevity clinics been available to folks?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I don't know the exact history, but I will say, at least in the West, across Europe and America, some of the most well-known centers that have been operating have been around from the early to mid 20th century. Clinique La Prairie, which is one of the clinics that I referenced in my story, was opened in the 1930s. And there are centers that have opened up sort of across the 20th century, and they're becoming more popular now.
Are these kind of more like an expensive day spa that you might spend a couple weeks at, or is this really all about checking yourself in and staying for long term, or is this kind of a day visit type of deal?
It depends. I think there's definitely options for every type of client. Some of the more intensive ones do have week treatments that people come in and they check in for weeks at a time. And then other centers have, short appointments you can book and you can just have a quick treatment and you can come out. So I think there's options for all types of clients.
Well, when you talk about the price tag of 50 grand, would you consider this the holy grail when it comes to living a longer and healthier life, or could this be a giant waste of money?
It's a great question. I think really the grail is some good combination of diet, exercise, stress management, and living a good social life. The issue is, like, in our modern day life, when we are super busy and we're not able to sort of, eat the right foods, and there's a lot of environmental toxins, and we're sort of combating a lot of stress. I think it's very hard to kind of tap into that right mix for ourselves. So I think these centers can help you figure out the best plan for yourself.
I guess the other question too, Lakshmi, how could people living longer impact our economy?
Well, people are going to be working longer, they're going to be generating more income, and they're going to be having more purchasing power. So I think, it's definitely going to help grow the economy.
And many of these clinics offer extensive diagnostic tests, which you briefly touched on, and personalized care plans. Is this something we might be able to just do for ourselves?
That's a good question. And I think that there are definitely companies, startups that are trying to sort of democratize access to this, or just essentially make these diagnostic tests a little bit easier for people. At least they're not offering all of the different tests at one time. They're sort of finding ways to make it a little bit easier for you to do your own genetic tests or your own blood tests or, your own sleep tests. And so, yeah, I think that's definitely in the process.
Well, I'm sure right now it's only available to those folks who have extra income, but it could be Walmartified before we know it, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, Lakshmi, thank you so much for joining us. For more information on longevity clinics, check out Lakshmi on insider.com.